Hi everyone, this is Ben Colby, Teen Librarian, with the part 2 video of the Space Blaster game. In part 1, we created this game with a ship that flies around and you hit the enemy ships, and if you crash 1, 2, and 3 times, that's a game over. So we're going to add a few more things to this. The first thing I'm going to add is a function to keep us organized. The first function we want to write is called create player. And what goes in create player? I want to include just the things that involve creating the player for the first time. So I put these things back in the start menu, but I'm taking these playership steps into the function. And then I'm going to, under functions, grab this function call create player in the start menu. And then it just jumps over to here and runs this stuff. And the purpose of this is just to stay organized. So what else are we going to do with the player ship? I want to animate it. So I went down to advanced animation and I want to animate the player ship. And I can actually create the images that I want it to change to. I actually want to start with my regular ship image here. And I'm not aware of how to copy it over, but one thing that you definitely can do is take this, it's called a marquee tool, but you can drag the box over. And it's okay if you get a little extra. And then I'm just going to do a Control C and then jump into this animation thing and do a Control V. Just kind of center it. And then I'm going to do a duplicate. So now I have two copies of the same thing, two frames that are the same, except now I'm going to change the second frame. So let's go back to pencil mode, and I'm just going to take some red lines and add them. So, right, so that's done. Oh, and then it should actually appear right here. Oh, yeah, and it is showing here every 500 milliseconds or half a second, we will animate back and forth. Hold on, let me, oh, and it has to be looped, right. Turn the loop on so it'll happen forever. So now you can see our ship is blinking red as we play, and that'll just go forever. That's just a feature of the ship now. It blinks. Let's do something similar for the enemies. So where did we create these? On game update. Cool. So let's create another function called spawn enemy or create enemy. Okay, and it's going to include all of this enemy ship stuff. And then over here, all we do is call the function, spawn the enemy. Great, so let's see, I'm going to use this right-click and format code just to kind of make more space for everything. So I'm over here in the spawn enemy function, and I'm going to add animation. And so let's go into this editor, let's drag a box around it and copy. And then this is going to be the enemy ship that we're animating. And we paste the enemy ship. I'll just center it. And then copy it. So there's a second one. Well, let's give this three things and let's make it cycle a little faster. So what happens? So I have a green box that appears below the thing. Oops. Okay, and that's the third one. Let me delete this. And so the first one is the way it used to be. The second one has the green box underneath. And the third one replaces the green box with an uh, orange trail or whatever it is. And let's make this interval a little faster, 200 milliseconds, so it'll look a little more like flashing, and then that'll loop forever. Hopefully that doesn't get too crazy, or it won't cause too much lag. But no, it looks great, and I can see, yeah, there's that red and green flashing bottom to the ship now, and each one has it, and the ship is blinking. Very cool. So we now have animations on our player ship and our enemy ship. What's next? Let's do a few sound effects. So when things happen in this game, we want to add a few sound effects. I don't think they're going to play for you in the video, because I don't know how to make the video record the screen audio in addition to my voice. But let's look at whatever we can find here. When the sprite of kind player overlaps the sprite of kind enemy. Let's add a few more things to that. And under music, we're going to play a sound. Power down, I think, will be good. And that's, yeah. So we play the sound, and then let's also shake the screen a little bit, and that's under scene. It's the very last thing under scene, camera shake. So now when we crash, it should give me a sound effect and a camera shake. Yeah, that's fine. That's good. Maybe not the best sound effect, but you can mess with that. And then what's the other collision that we need to think about? When the projectile hits the enemy, let's give it a different sound effect from music. I'm going to play sound. How about small crash? I think that'll be good. And then, right, and then what do we do here? Yeah, do we need to shake? No, I think that's good. So, and then the other thing actually is when you fire, we should create a sound effect. So that's under A. We pressed A, set missile 2. Well, every time you do that, we should also have a sound effect. Play sound, and I think pew pew is pretty good for shooting the weapon. Okay, so we've added some basic sound effects. One thing I don't like about this is that it starts too fast. I have to, sometimes you get hit before you even know what's going on. Love those sound effects, but I'm going to do something at the beginning under, it's under the thing that we display. Yes, under game. You could either splash it, which is like a big title thing, or just show text at the bottom. That's what I'm going to do. So let's show this long text at the bottom, which is just some introductory thing that, it gives us a button to press to start the game instead of just immediately starting it. And it should say arrows to move, space to fire. So now when we start, yep, now it's not going to go until I hit the A button or the space, and then we are playing. All right. So let's have different stages here. Let's start at stage 1, and then go to stage 2. And is stage 2 going to be harder? Let's think about that later. Let's just create stage 2. I'm going to need a new loop for this because we need to be checking something constantly. So I need a under game, on game update. I don't want this to happen on a timer. I want to be checking my score constantly to see if I need to advance to the next level. So let's do a series of checks. If true, So nothing happens unless the condition is met. And that condition is, I think it's going to be two things. I'm using an and block. The first condition is that our game level equals level 1. We haven't talked about game level yet. I need to create a variable for it. Make variable, which is game level. And when we start off, we are going to set the game level to level 1. All right, so if something equals something, and that would be if the game level equals 1, and your score is past a certain point, then we need to advance your level to level 2. So let's check the score. And it'll be another equals comparison. We need both of these things to happen together. And score is under info. So let's say the score is greater than or equal to 20, 25. So you hit 25 and you go up to level 2. So what happens when we do that? We first of all change our variable. Then we would set the game level to 2. And let's do another thing here. I'm just going to copy this whole thing, duplicate it. Else if the game level equals 2 and the score is greater than, I don't know, 50, then what do? We set the game level to 3, and that's good. So now we have level 2 and 3. And let's also change the background image when we do this. Or you know what? Let's create a function to change the stage. So I'm going to create a function that is start stage start level 2. And under functions, I have a function call now that says start level 2. So the two things I do when I'm ready to go up to level 2, I change the variable saying that it's now game level 2, and I run the function. And let's do something similar for start level 3. And there's no end to level 3. It just goes forever until you die. So we call start level 3. So in level 2, the first thing I want to do is change the background image, which by default is just black. I'm going to change it to another color, just using the fill button, dark purple. And I also want to destroy everything on the scene, on all the enemy sprites, which requires me to use something a little bit weird. I need to create an array of, it's under sprites, isn't it? I create an array of sprites. So the way I'm going to destroy all of the ships is I'm going to create a variable, and I actually already have it here called enemy list. And so I'm going to set enemy list to, it's a thing here in sprites, an array of sprites, also known as a list of sprites, under life cycle here. Set enemy list to array of sprites of kind enemy. So now, in this variable, we have a list of all the enemies that exist on the screen stored. So now there's a loop where we can specifically use that for element value of list. For do. For element value of list, and select the correct variable there, we destroy the sprite. And instead of saying the enemy ship here, we're just going to drag this value over, and that makes it a general case. And why not give it a spray effect or some other effect? Halo, destroy with halo effect. So now if I achieve a score of 25, which I will try to do real quick, it should destroy everything that's left on the screen and change the background for me. Almost there. Okay. Yep, it works great. So now stage 2 has started, and I want to also just add one more thing, which is another one of these long text at the bottom things. And that just says stage 2. Great. So basically, starting level 3 is going to be more or less the same thing. This is what happens when you get to a score of 50. I'm just going to copy. Oh, okay. I can copy these one by one, I suppose. But the same thing is going to happen. We set an enemy list to an array of sprites. We do the for loop to destroy the sprites. And let's say that we're in, say that we're in stage 3. And then the only difference would be background color will be different. Let me just pick something. Let's go crazy and pick orange, and then also have some yellow stripes going across space for level 3. And that'll be good. So let me just pause real quick and then play my way up to level 3 if I can. Okay, I'm right at the end of level 2. Oh, and it just went really fast. But anyway, there I am, and there's level 3. Kind of hard to see the ships against that background. You can change it again if you want to, but it's at least doing what we wanted it to do, and there I am, game over, score of 63. I'm happy with this. So let's just review every bit of the code real quick just to make sure you caught it. On start, we set our initial life, we set our score, we set our game level. We started the screen effect. Everything related to creating the player we put into a function just to keep it organized. So all that stuff is we created the sprite, we gave it movement, we told it to stay on the screen, and we animated it. And that's and then also we had that initial text to start. And then we have 2 game updates happening. Every 500 milliseconds, we will spawn the enemy, and that runs this function over here to create all this enemy stuff, including the animation. And then we have another game update running, and this is just running constantly, like much faster than half a second. And if your game level is 1 and you've surpassed the score for game level 1, then we start game level 2. And that's all in a function here, where we change the background image. We set an enemy list to an array of sprites, and then for element of list, we destroy that thing. And we show long text saying that we're starting the next stage. And then similar thing for level 3. The only difference is a different background image. And then just to review our collisions, when the sprite, let's start with this one, when the sprite of kind player overlaps other sprite of kind enemy, so any player overlapping with any enemy, we destroy the enemy, we change our life, we have a sound, and we have a camera shake. We are also, when we press the A button, we're shooting a missile and playing a sound. And then the final thing is when we have the enemy overlapping with the projectile, it's destroyed, the other sprite is destroyed, we change the score and we play a sound. Could we keep going and adding things to this? Yes, absolutely. But let me just make it a little larger for a second. But I think it's pretty good as it is, and I'm going to stop.